to be the person to stand next to him on the biggest day of his life. But then I quickly realised that John had actually stitched me up. I've obviously offended John in some way because he knows how much I dislike public speaking. And in 24 years, I've somehow managed to get away without speaking in front of a large crowd. And John has clearly noticed this. So, sorry, John. The joke's on you though. Because I've done my research into best man speeches, and I've come to the conclusion that these speeches are just an excuse to embarrass the group. John, you know that I have so much dirt on you. And today is the day that everyone's going to be enlightened. There's no stories whatsoever. So, I first met John in 1988. Those of you who don't know, that's when I was born. I can't really remember much about the first meeting, but clearly he made a good impression. But on a serious note, I couldn't ask for a better, more giving and loving brother than John. I still love you. I've always looked up to John, not only because of the height differential, but because he's a great example and selflessly puts others before himself. There's no doubt these are a few of the many qualities that Gwen saw in him when she, and I quote directly from the bride's mouth, eyeballed him. Whilst they were living in the same halls in their first year at university in Leicester. Just down the road. So growing up with John as an older brother hasn't been easy. I'm sure he'd say the exact same about having a younger brother like myself, because I have made the best possible effort to make it as hard as possible. But one of the things I really admired about John growing up was how creative he was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but an art pad and pen were never far from his side in his formative years. Although John's creativity blossomed at an early age, it was about 14, 15 when he really came into his own. It was the age John convinced himself that he was a fully fledged car designer.
Oh yeah?
A craft that requires years of intensive study, an in-depth understanding, and a lot of research to master. John thought was possible in a couple of hours, armed with only half a tube of Pritt stick and a box of crayons. Just like any startup company, you need to start strong with a catchy name. John clearly didn't think that. He settled on the name Calvo. I don't have a clue what it means, but I'm sure to a 14-year-old it spoke volumes. Once he'd come up with a great name, which clearly took him a lot of time to fine-tune, he began to put together a portfolio of cars he thought would revolutionise the motor industry. At this point, the normal kid would have called it a day, but remember, we are talking about John. John wasn't content with just sitting on his designs. He felt the urge to share his newfound professional insight with the world. So he began sending the best of his grand designs off to a few small companies, such as Ford, Ferrari, Lamborghini. Name but a few. Let's just say, I don't think the motor industry was ready for those problems. Not only does this story illustrate John's very, 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 very blind ambition, it also demonstrates his determination, which is a trait he's successfully focused as he's made the transition into adulthood. Not only does this... I've read that bit. John is such a great man, and if I ever become half the man he is, then I know I'm headed in the right direction. And as they say, behind every great man is a very great woman, and they definitely are not wrong when they say that. if you ever get the opportunity to ask John to talk to you about Gwen, you'll probably regret it. Because you'll be there for hours listening to him, what's a lyrical about her. But when he finally does finish, and you've heard for the 30th time a story about how they met, you will undoubtedly know, even after all these years, that he's still head over heels in love with her. You won't just get that impression from what he has to say, but it will be communicated through him. His nostrils will flare. He'll have a twinkle in his eye, and his face will light up. And this is just at the mention of her name. After having the pleasure of knowing Gwen since I was 14, I can wholeheartedly say I understand why she evokes this reaction. From John. She's a loving, caring, fun individual who, like John, has a huge heart for others. And I'm extremely proud to call you sister, John. And I look forward to many more years of Gwenisms and banter. As you've probably noticed and have mentioned on more than one occasion to the person you're sat next to, the speech hasn't been very good. So I've been told that people only remember the beginning and the end of your speech. So I'm going to finish strong with a quote about marriage. It says, "Don't marry the person you think you can live with, marry the person you can't live without." I'm sure 100% that you two have found that in each other. So please, join me in raising your glasses and toasting to the happiness and love that the bride and groom will share for many years to come. To Mr. and Mrs. Malaya Jr. Jr.